Hi, it's Dr. Ginny here, the Happy Body Coach, and I want to talk about should today and the way should can take us off our weight loss journey or even stop us before we get started. And I've been talking with clients about this. I've been seeing clients in an alcohol freedom program that I coach in talking about. I feel like other people are having an easier time with this than I am. I feel like this shouldn't be so hard. I feel like I should be feeling better. I shouldn't be experiencing suffering. And so this should idea, I can just really see it all the time, stopping people. Like it's already hard to quit drinking if you've been drinking every day for years and you've tried a bunch of times. So you're already kind of going against this addiction. And then second, you're telling yourself it should be easier than this. So between those two things, it's really easy to just give up. Right. So should can make us give up. Can you see how that could happen on our weight loss journey? I'm going to talk about that in just a second, but I have this example of when should really got in my way. And it's when I got my first German Shepherd puppy. I love German Shepherds. I got this beautiful puppy. I had seen the breeder's home and I had seen the parents and everybody was so impressive. And I thought, this is going to be awesome. And I got her home. She was difficult. She was not awesome. So I was calling the breeder pretty regularly and saying, you have beautiful dogs there, but you sold me a defective dog. Something's really wrong. This dog is so difficult. I'm in tears all the time trying to figure her out. I was really worried, like, am I going to give her up? Am I, going to completely fail at this? It just wasn't going well. And it went on for months and months like that. The breeder said did an interesting reframe with me. She said, yes, all our dogs are very athletic, referencing that she's running all over the house and everywhere, running over the furniture, etc. And I was feeling like, you are not listening to me. Something's terribly wrong with this dog. But I started to try to think about, okay, what is she telling me? Because I want to try to figure this out. I want to ask myself a more empowering question. I'm feeling like this is too hard. I'm kind of arguing with reality. It's as hard as it is. So instead of doing that, I'll ask myself an empowering question. What can I do to learn how to teach this dog so she becomes a dog I want to live with? So she becomes a dog I'm really happy to have in my life. And I started working at that. And so thinking of the athletic comment, I started doing agility training with her and then agility competitions, and basically invested a lot of time and a fair amount of money too in figuring out and learning and getting coaching on how to teach my dog how to behave in human society. Over time, she became this great dog. So I could travel with her. People were always envious. Like, how do I get a dog like that? Thinking you just go buy them and they're like this, which isn't how it is what I discovered. I really had a lot to learn about how dogs actually are, how this dog actually was, and how I could bring out the best in her. So if I had stayed with, she should be different from this, I would never have made any progress. Does that make sense? So this should be hard. This should be easier. This shouldn't be hard is a thought that can stop us from moving forward and finding out how to make it easier. I don't know if you've heard the way Byron Katie talks about this. She talks about arguing with reality. And she says, when we argue with reality, we suffer, but only 100% of the time. And I just found that such a compelling statement. I try to notice when I'm arguing with reality. If a situation is in a way that I don't like it, should is not helpful. So I think about, the dog being tied in the yard next door and feeling like they shouldn't do that to the dog. The dog is crying, the dog is upset. This is not good for a dog. They shouldn't. That should doesn't do any good. It doesn't help anything for me to say that should. Or my husband, my partner should know what I want without my having to say it to them, without my having to express my wishes or needs or desires. That is called mind reading. It's one of the things that predicts poor poor relationship outcomes. So the idea of should just stops us from taking action. What about this one? Here's one I've been doing for over a year now. I should start a daily exercise routine. I know that saying I should means I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna keep saying I should. So if I actually want to start a daily exercise routine, that is a different mindset and it's a different set of behaviors, right? It's looking for, what time of day and for how long. It's putting it on the schedule. It's guarding that time, making it a priority, maybe setting up an accountability practice at first. There's a bunch of things that will let me be successful with that. They have nothing to do with saying I should. Does that make sense to you? Can you see any ways that should gets in your way when it comes to your healthy eating and weight loss journey, or other things in your life that you're trying to change and you just feel stuck? So what we find with the way of eating that I discovered, I call it happy body eating, we can pretty easily and comfortably discover how to release all our excess weight. We can discover a way of eating that is thoroughly enjoyable, that's not that hard, that's really simple and straightforward. We may already be doing 80% of it right, and we can learn those other pieces. It's not hard. Doesn't have to involve starving ourselves. There's zero deprivation or suffering involved. However, it's not as easy as maintaining the status quo. And so as soon as we start to think about making some changes to our eating, the primitive part of our brain says, the easiest thing would be to just keep on autopilot about this. Just keep eating the way you've been eating. It never killed us so far. Why don't we just keep going with that? And that's just really natural human tendency, that our brain is going to look for ways to put us on autopilot in as many places as possible. So when you get to a point in your life like I got to, where you feel like I have got to make a change in my eating and my health, I'm losing way too much, my future doesn't look bright. When you're ready to change the status quo, you got to come up against that part of your brain that says, no, this isn't easy enough. And part of how it says that is with should. This should be easier. I remember, kind of learning, like I did all the research myself. How much nutritious food do I actually have to eat to really start to get weight loss and to really vastly improve my health? And as I read the answers, as I found the answers in the research, at first I said, I shouldn't have to eat that much nutritious food. That's too much. And I started thinking, who am I arguing with? My body needs what it needs. My job is to figure out what that is and to consistently give it what it needs. So once I got should out of the way, this should be easier, then it actually started to get so much easier. Does that make sense? Can you see how getting should out of the way will actually make it more likely you move forward and actually make it so much easier on you? There's always someone in the marketplace promoting a really easy solution, and generally one that doesn't work, but a lot of us will spend our money on it hoping, right? So it could be magic pills or magic elixirs, like I was talking about the ad for the little stuff you drink and you suddenly look like you're slender. So there's always someone out there marketing something that's magic like that, right? Just keep eating whatever you feel like, and it won't matter because we'll have you take this pill or drink this elixir. And this reinforces an idea that I had, like I felt like my really indulgent way of eating and drinking every day is really important. I deserve it. I would miss it. I would suffer so much. There should be a way of maintaining that way of eating and still losing weight. And so that attitude that it should be this way just really got in my way. And there's all kinds of people marketing these quick fix solutions that seem to reinforce that idea. Do you ever find like those quick fix ads call to you? I'd love to see, comment if you've seen some of those, or if you've seen that one that I'm talking about with the, the little drink, and I'm suddenly slender. It doesn't make sense when I look at it, but there's a part of me, the primitive brain part of me, that says, maybe I should check that out, right? Because that part of the brain's always seeking the easiest solution, the solution that's the most efficient and doesn't require too much energy. The wise women that I work with, they realize that, getting healthy, sustainable weight loss at this point, because we're all in menopause or past menopause or perimenopause, we know we've tried a whole bunch of things and things aren't working for us anymore. We know it's going to take some kind of real change, whether it's huge or it's small. It's going to take some kind of real change in my eating to get a real change in my weight. It's not as easy as staying on autopilot and just continuing to eat the way we've been eating. That's going to keep giving us the results we've been getting. But when we decide, I'm done with the status quo, I'm ready for a change, we do have to be willing to exert a little bit of effort and to think about it more, to pay more attention to our eating. One of my clients was just talking about that this week. She said, I already noticed that I'm feeling better. And all I'm really doing is paying more attention to how I'm eating, just being more alert and aware about what I'm doing. So we do find there's a period of effort. There's a period of paying more attention than you've been paying. There's a period of learning so that you can transform your results, figure out what are you doing that's working and what are you doing that's getting in the way of great results. And once you start putting that together, you start implementing what actually works, things start to change quite easily. You can get all the way to your slender, right-sized body without suffering or deprivation. It's not that hard. It's real. My clients tell me this all the time. Many of my clients start to experience really notable improvements, including weight loss, starting from the first weeks of doing happy body eating. They do manage their expectations, though. I had 60 pounds to lose, and that didn't happen in 2 weeks. That didn't happen in 6 weeks. It took months. But my body was really happy with the pace of weight loss I was doing. My body felt really good, and my health was vastly improving. My energy was vastly improving. There was all kinds of proof, and I was paying attention and watching for it, that what I was doing was good for my body and good for my future. And boy, did it transform things. So we give our bodies time to adjust rather than try to force them. You should be letting go of weight faster. Who says? My body's going to do what it does. I do my job, my body does its job. The second thing I feel like we really learn is to cultivate positive emotion about our future vision. So, I feel 20 years, I feel younger than I'm in my 60s now. I feel younger than I felt in my 40s. I feel like I could really live a great life and be really healthy until I die at 100. I did not feel like that when I started these eating changes. I felt like I was headed for the nursing home. So cultivating positive emotion was about letting go of shoulds and letting go of beating myself up and giving myself time to learn something new and implement it, but also feeling a bit excited about what are the possibilities here? What could actually happen in my life if I can get so that I can start walking and hiking again, and if I can get a much more youthful energy again. It's really awesome. So I really encourage you to guard against should in your weight loss journey. Rather than argue with reality, get curious about how your body works and how you can best support it being its best so you can have your healthiest, happiest life. So I'd love to hear in the comments, have you ever found that should gets in your way with healthy eating and weight loss, or with anything else? I'd love to hear your story shared in the comments. I just really encourage you to cultivate an open attitude of learning and curiosity. I want to learn what actually works. I'm going to want to let go of any biases that aren't serving me. And I want to figure out how to implement what works for healthy eating and weight loss. So positive emotions like excitement and curiosity can carry you so much farther than should. Let me know what you think.